Perfectionism is a poison that pretends to be a vitamin. You hear people in culture go, what can I tell you? I'm a perfectionist.
I'm a perfectionist.
It's not helping you. It's not helping you. It's the sneakiest form of fear.
What are some of the biggest obstacles to accomplishing your goals?
Well, one of the biggest obstacles that we don't talk about enough is mindset. So Kirk, the way it works is great thoughts turn into great actions turn into great results. All too often we overfocus on the results we want and never change the underlying thoughts that are shaping everything. So I wrote a book and studied this, and it's called Soundtracks, about what are the soundtracks you're listening to. And most people think thoughts come from outside them. They're on their own. We say things like she got carried away by her thoughts. He got lost in his thoughts. But really great people understand that thoughts come by one of two ways: choice or chance. You choose them. You take every thought captive. You focus. You set your mind on what's true and noble and beautiful. Or you chance them. So a big part of goal setting is actually making sure that you have the kind of thoughts that are going to set you up for success.
What about a lack of motivation to accomplish your goals? What happens when we're just like, you know what? I got these goals. I hear what you're saying, but I just don't feel like it.
People want motivation to be a true north. They go, I got to find my one why or my one source of motivation. No. That's not how it works. You need what I call a motivation portfolio. You need 20 things that motivate you, because some days 10 of them won't move the needle. So you need to go, okay, this song inspires me. This friend inspires me. This Bible verse inspires me. Being outside with my kids inspires me. I want you to have a long list of motivations. So when it's a Tuesday and you're grumpy and it's rainy and you don't want to change, you go, let me go through my portfolio. Which one of these things is going to get me out of bed? Which one of these things is going to encourage me? Versus going, I'll wait until I feel motivated enough to do something. I'd much rather you collect motivation, which is self-awareness. We talked about that in segment 1. That's a callback. And I want you to have an active list of things that motivate you.
You just made me think of the motivation that actually gets me up out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning before I go to the gym to read my Bible. And it is the desire that I have to want to hear from God. I want a better, closer, more aware relationship, and I want to hear the voice of God. And I think, God, I'm not getting up just to read the Bible. I'm getting up to meet with you, and I'm hoping that you will speak to me more clearly through your word. I want this relationship to be solid.
Yeah, and you've built a foundation on that, and that's an amazing thing. And so that's what you have to do, is you have to go, okay, where's the desire in this? We're not very good at expressing desire. We sometimes get what I'd say divorced from our desires. And again, God built us with amazing desires, and he talks about that through his word over and over and over again. So setting your mind on that for the rest of your day is a really powerful thing.
What about when we hit some kind of an unavoidable speed bump? We got a health issue, we got a financial issue, just like this was not on the calendar, but I have to do this. How do we recover and get back on track?
Well, it's interesting. Perfectionists really have a hard time with this. And here's the thing. Perfectionism is a poison that pretends to be a vitamin. You hear people in culture go, what can I tell you? I'm a perfectionist.
I'm a perfectionist.
It's not helping you. It's not helping you. It's the sneakiest form of fear. It's fear in a tuxedo. It looks like a character trait. It's actually fear. So for a perfectionist, you have to admit, okay, I've had a mistake. Something didn't go the way I wanted to. I'm not going to stop everything. A perfectionist will miss one day at the gym and then never go again. Or they'll miss one day writing or reading their Bible. I'm going to read the Bible in a year. And then they hit Leviticus and skin rashes and they go, ugh. And then they never pick it up the next 10 months. And so a perfectionist has to give themselves permission to start again. That's what resilience is. Resilience is just permission to start again when it hasn't gone the way you wanted to. We think resilience is you have to be a Navy SEAL. No. It's permission to start again when it hasn't gone the way you wanted it to.
What about the person that's saying, you know, all this sounds nice, this is all fine and dandy, but I got a full-time job. I've got 3 kids. I've got a schedule that, is unbelievable. My plate overflows. I don't have time for goals and accomplishments.
Yeah, sure. I work with a lot of single moms that are superstars that say that same thing. So just remember, there's seasons of your life when it's easier than others. I have 2 teenage daughters. It's easier now. Never tell the parent of a toddler that childhood goes by quickly. Toddler days are 900 hours long. Like, childhood doesn't go by quickly. Toddler days are slow. It speeds up when they're teenagers. I have more time in my life to pursue goals than I did when I had a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. So you might be in a busy season right now. That's not a bad thing. But I know that there's moms that have been in my books who have gotten degrees in the car rider pickup line. So they finished their college degree waiting for their kid 20 minutes at a time. So what I'd say to somebody who says they're really busy is I'd say, I bet if you and I looked at your calendar, we could go rescue some time. I love that phrase. I mean, you want to do a takeaway? Are there 20 minutes you could rescue this week? And I know where they're hidden. Go check your screen time on your iPhone. One week I looked up, Kirk, I had spent 13 hours on Instagram. That's more than a full day's work on Instagram. I don't work for that company. And so I said, okay, well, there's some time. So I always encourage people, can we find time for you? When I had 2 kids that were young, I had a Bible study I was in, I had a full-time job. When I was trying to become a public speaker, I would practice speakers in my Atlanta commute. I would tell my steering wheel that day's speech. I would practice my speeches as I drove. I could have listened to music. I could have just zoned out. Instead, I said, oh, hold up. I just found a 45-minute window of time I'm not using, sometimes an hour and a half because Atlanta is terrible. I'm going to practice my speeches. So I ask people to get creative with their time, get creative with your calendar. Let's go rescue some time together.
What about those of us who overthink and we get into this analysis paralysis and we get overwhelmed with, oh my goodness, this is going to take this amount of time, this amount of money, the details, the planning just puts me into paralysis. What would you say to someone who's struggling there?
So here's what you do. There's 3 things you do. You retire your broken soundtracks. You get rid of the broken ones. You replace them with new ones. Your brain wants to think. You're designed to think. Your brain is waiting to be told what to think. We can't retire the bad without replacing it with some good. And the third thing is you repeat those so often they become as automatic as the old ones. Now let's get even more specific and practical. I want you to identify if you have a broken soundtrack, and here's how you do it. All you do, you write down a goal. Write down any goal. I want to start a podcast. I want to lose 5 pounds. I want to date my spouse. Write down any goal, and then listen to your first thoughts that come after, because every reaction is an education. Your reaction to that goal is educating you. Are your first thoughts, you could do that. You're well equipped to do that. That could work this time. Or are they negative? Do they say, who are you to do that? Why do you think you can do that? You failed 10 times before, you'll fail again.
Yeah.
And if they're negative, you just ask 3 Trojan horse questions. Simple questions, but they're Trojan horse because if you sit with them, there's real truth inside. First question, is it true? Is the thing I'm telling myself about myself true? Is the thing I'm telling myself about my marriage true? Is the thing I'm telling myself about the economy true? Second question, is it helpful? Is the thing I'm telling myself helpful? When I repeat it again and again and again, does it push me forward or pull me back? Third question, is it kind? If I said this to a friend, would they still want to be my friend? If I talked this way to a friend, would they still want to be my friend? My youngest daughter got a 42 on a biology test. And the next month when she had another one, she was telling herself again and again and again, you could fail again, you could fail again, you could fail again. That's true. She did fail the first time. But is that helpful to say the night before the next test? It's not. And third question, if a friend texted her 100 times the night before the test and said, don't forget, McCrae, you failed, you failed, you failed, would that be a good friend or a monster? And so if you can't say yes to those 3 questions, is it true? Is it helpful? Is it kind? It's probably a broken soundtrack that you need to retire.
You use the phrase in your book, Finish, the future belongs to finishers. The future belongs to finishers. Why is that true?
Well, I half wrote a lot of books for 34 years of my life. I've written 8 in the last 12 years. I finished those books. You don't get to put a half-finished book on a bookshelf. You don't get to open a half-finished business. And so if you really want to have something out in the world, if you want to help people, nonprofits have to be launched. They have to be finished. Speeches have to be given. So it's fun to have a bunch of what if. There's a dreaming stage to everything there is. But if you really want to change the world, you have to finish. You have to put that book on a shelf. You have to put that podcast on iTunes. You have to get across the finish line if you want to change your life and other people's lives.
I'm thinking of a goal that millions and millions of people have. And if you could answer this question, you'd put an entire dieting industry out of business. And the goal is, I want to get in shape. I want to be healthy. I want to lose weight. And some people have just gone their entire lives and say, you know what? I'm tired of trying. I've failed at this goal so many times. It's not worth it for me. I want to be happy. What do you do for those who say, I've tried, but it's a lot of effort for nothing?
So here's the fastest way to figure that out. I want you to find another goal in your life that worked. Everyone regardless of the person, has had something in their life that worked. The problem is, Kirk, we never take those good things and bring them to the other parts of our life. So I'll give you an example. I meet people all the time that go, I want to lose weight. I tried everything. And I'll go, well, tell me about a goal that worked. And they'll go, yeah, I got out of debt a few years ago. My wife and I got serious about that. And I'll go, okay, well, what helped you do that? And they'll go, I was in a small group. I had an envelope system. I had somebody that was training me around spending. And I'll go, well, then let's bring all those things into your health goal. So if somebody said to me, Jon, I really want to get in shape, I'd go, I want you to tell me about something that worked in your life. And they're never expecting that question because they're usually in a pretty stuck space. But that'll make them go, yeah, you know what? I did need community to do this other goal, and I'm trying to lose the weight alone. I need to go get some accountability. I need to go get some community. Or I paid off my debt because I had a wall chart, and every morning I saw it, and I wanted to get up to the top of that thermometer, paying off the debt. But I don't have anything that's visual around my health goal. Oh, I need a visual. So a lot of times it's finding your strengths and then bringing them forward to that goal where you're stuck.